Soto and Chad here. Soto, I have a question for you. Now,
Okay.
we're men. Maybe
Yes.
not the manliest of men, but we are
I
men.
know.
And
I
we,
identify as
yeah,
cisgendered. Yes.
yes. But you know what I mean. I'm just,
hmm
but sometimes as a man in society, we try not to let our emotions get a hold of us. But anyhow, we're
Sure.
also movie people. We worked at Blockbuster. We've talked about this many times. We've watched movies that scare us, make us laugh. I need to ask you something, and I have
hmm
a story, so I am going to answer this too. So don't think I'm copping out of this, but and you can pick anyone, but Soda, was there a movie that ever made you cry? Now, I'm not talking about that choked up, where you get that tear, oh, this happened, and you're fine. I'm talking about, have you actually ever bawled or maybe cried at a movie? What movie made you cry the most? Because you can tell me there isn't one, but I know deep down even if you were just a kid, there has to be one. So I will tell you mine and you will laugh. I've never told the story to you or many people. Anyhow. Has there been a movie that made you cry?
Look, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I am in touch with my emotions. I'm not like emotionally like, I don't know. I just but I have never actually like full on cried during a movie before. Maybe when I was a little kid, I cried because I think I was 2 or 3 years old, and my parents took me to see Return of the Jedi in the theater. And, for a 3 year old not understanding the way that things work, it was very alarming to see a pig, that was dressed up like a guard and stuff. So yeah, I think I full on cried there, but I haven't actually cried tears during the movie. But I will tell you that movies have made me, tear up. And if I had to tell you, and this is gonna be like whatever, I get made fun of. I don't give a fuck. I'll wear this shit. I don't care.
And it's fine. It's fine.
Any fucking time. Like, so, all right. Lord of the Rings, one of my favorite movies of all time. Okay. But it is hard for me to contain my emotions. Like when fucking Samwise decides to pick up Frodo and be like, "You, I can't carry the ring, but I'll carry you up the mountain," dude. That shit fucking almost sent me 100%. Of course, like I get it. Like, movies are supposed to have that reaction. I've just never had one, but I mean, I've come close many times. But that, or like, Frodo pulls Sam out of the water in the first one, and Sam's like, "I'm not gonna leave your side" and shit like that. Like, I don't care. I get made fun of, but that shit to me, fucking, that is like what pure cinema is. So yeah, I've come close. I've had a little tear come out there maybe once or twice, but I've never full on bawled during a movie. Not unless something else had happened and it was during a funeral I had to be on or something like that. But no, no, I've never cried. Not even during Titanic. None of that.
I don't think I cried at Titanic. So yeah, like you, there's a lot of movies, like, get me a little choked up for whatever reason, like especially movies that have dogs die, like I see
Oh
that
my
in like,
God.
or, like I know, and I'm going to Homeward Bound when the dog comes back, it's a
Yes.
Disney movie, and but you're like,
Yes.
oh yeah, go. And,
Yeah.
there is one that got me a little choked up, which is a movie I want to talk about another day. What Dreams May Come. I just think a lot of that.
Oh my
It's a
God.
Robin
That one
Williams
is so
underrated
sad.
movie. I
Oh,
Yeah, and I
that's a
have a
good one.
lot of stories behind, and that is such a great film,
Yes.
and a lot of things were
Yes.
happening in my life before then. But I think that's a
Yeah.
story for another time because I'm going to switch this to a little comical. So I can't explain this, but I'm going to try my best to explain it because when I tell you the movie, you might not even know the movie. And I'm not saying I bawled, but I'm just saying more than just tears. Like tears were kind of coming down. Not like I can't explain, but not we're holding back. So anyhow.
No,
I
you're
think I
more
was in
emotionally
high.
mature.
Well, no, no, that's fine. I will accept whatever
Yes.
fate I get from this story. And so anyhow, there was a movie. I was in high school, so it's around 95, 96. So I do not know officially when the movie came out because I know I saw it
Okay.
on like HBO. So it's not like it was a
So
brand new.
intrigued.
So there's a movie called Defending Your Life. Do you know this movie with Meryl Streep
Oh,
and Albert Brooks?
yes.
So
I have never seen it, but it's like I've seen trailers. And around HBO, I do remember that it was always on, but I was like, I don't know, this is beyond me. Go ahead.
I would say it's not a movie that I would expect us to watch as kids because it's, it is part comedy, but the idea of the movie is, after you die, weirdly enough, you don't, it's called defending your life. And you're put on trial in a way. And what it is, they're looking at scenes from your life, and the decision is whether or not you move on. They never really say heaven or hell, but you move on or you basically get sent back to Earth. So it's like, and the whole idea is where don't be afraid, and like, just don't, if you're brave and stuff like that, you will move on. There's a lot of other shit, but that's kind of the premise. So yes, Meryl Streep, Albert Brooks, blah, blah, blah. And obviously Meryl Streep, they're watching her, because they're watching like scenes from her past life in a trial. And, she's doing all this amazing shit. And Albert Brooks, obviously because he's the goofball guy, like they're like, oh, he's always afraid to do shit. And he's trying to, basically his lawyer's like, well, maybe he was just trying to, survive, stuff like that. They're like, yeah, that's fight for survival. That's not being brave. That's just not wanting to die. So at the end, so anyhow, and I know I'm kind of Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep, and, they kind of fall in love, and, at the end, she gets, and I'm spoiler alert. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you're ever really going to see this, but
No,
she's allowed
it's
to move
okay.
on. He's not. So they're like on separate buses. So this whole movie, I am actually fine. There is no issue I've had with this movie. It is just this end scene, which is fucking hilarious to me. But I do have a theory about it. But anyhow, so he's down because he's always been the lovable loser, stuff like that. And he's going back to Earth, and she's moving on. But he sees her like in a bus. I can't explain it because it's whatever. I'm going to say heaven, but I have no idea. And he's crying out to her, like, her name. She's trying to call him. And then all of a sudden, like, he's trying to break the belt. He's running across the rails. And then his lawyer is showing the judges what's happening now, and he's allowed to live. This whole scene, and I know this is so stupid because this is a comedy, makes me freaking cry. And I've done it more than once. Like just tear
Wow.
down. Yes, and that's how I know. And I was like, why? Why is this ending? And I think a part of it's just because at that time of my life, I always considered myself the loser type, just the outcast and stuff like that. No one likes me.
Yeah.
There was a lot of him, older, mind you, but I was like, and Meryl Streep's like the stuff that you want, in life and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I do not know why, Soto. Him just freeing himself, trying to be brave, trying to get into her, just like, I love you, stuff like that. It's made me cry, not just once, but I had a girlfriend in high school, and she asked me, and I told her this movie made me cry. So it happened once. And she's laughing at me like, really? And then I'm like, I don't get it. And I even like someone later, and so there's proof of me crying to this. So I'm not, but I don't get it. And I'm telling you, so like, I've been choked up. This stupid rom-com, and I shouldn't say it's like, romantic comedy, but it's 93, 94. But the ending, just him just trying to be the hero, him just, fighting for what he loves, somehow always got to me. And yes, I've cried. Not like, again, I'm not bawling, but tears are coming down to the more where I can't hold it back. Like, oh my God, what the fuck's going wrong with me? Again,
Wow.
this is not a type of movie that shouldn't. You should be laughing, this and that, haha, Meryl's, I'm like, it's not like no one dies, no one does this. It's him just trying not to be a lovable loser, him just not trying to go down the same road he always does and just hide away. He finally steps up, he beats a man, and he's allowed to move on with her. That's kind of the end. They open the doors of the bus, he hugs her, and the bus just takes off. Whatever happens to him afterwards, I don't know. So yes, it is actually a decent movie. It's not a bad movie, but like I said, it's not a movie that I would expect anyone to cry to, but for some reason it hits me in the feels. And I swear to God, I thinking about it the other day, I'm like, God, I'm getting kind of choked up at this part again. This is what's wrong with me. But in all seriousness, I do not know why this movie made me cry, and it did it multiple times. And yeah, so I had to laugh. I had to share that story. It's why I had to ask you.
Yeah.
Yes, I will admit it. This is the only movie that I can think of that I've actually cried to. I've held back. I've been emotional. Like I said, What Dreams May Come. I had a friend that committed suicide, so there's a lot to that. But this movie, this movie hit me, and I do not know why, because it's a movie that's not supposed to make you cry, and it made this man cry.
Well, I mean,
Whatever.
I think it can happen. I mean, I kind of like feel that way towards like Meet Joe Black, which is a 4-hour long movie that nobody ever watches. But there's a scene at the end of Meet Joe Black where I don't know if you know the story or if you've ever seen it.
I've seen the movie. Yeah, I saw it a long time ago.
Yeah, but it's like, Brad Pitt, obviously he's dead. He gets his body taken over by death and everything. The scene at the end where he's just watching the fireworks and he's just like kind of like Anthony Hopkins last night, and he's just kind of like reflecting on everything, and it's just like you kind of see like one tear that he has to wipe off, and like before he has to like death is crying about having to leave like this life, and seeing how beautiful it is and stuff like that. So I think that those things, it's like we talk about movies all the time. It's a personal experience, So the fact that movies can elicit that kind of emotional response is kind of like why I love movies so much. So yes, while it is funny, and I was expecting you to talk about like All Dogs Go to Heaven, I'll definitely have to check this movie out.
You can laugh at me later, but it is, like I said, outside of me, it's a decent movie. Like I said, it's not, it's a good watch. So I don't know how long it is, but I don't know when it came out. I want to say 92, 93. I just know I first saw it 90. I had to have been 95, junior, senior high school. So I'm going to say 95,
Yeah.
96 is when I first saw it. And I don't know the last time, but yes, that is my story. I just had to share that with you because I thought, hey, you get to know me a little bit better. What movie made Chad cry? That one.
Defending Your
So
Life, starring Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep, yes. Oh my God. But anyhow, for those who are listening, please let us know what movies have made you cry. Share us your stories. We want to know. And until next
Hmm.
time, Soto and Chad here. Peace.
Later.